biting her nail as if hesitant to say anything. Sarbak is observing the worker in silence, apparently sunk deep in thought. Meanwhile, Klein merely stands still with a distrustful grimace on his face. Other than Hrodko, no one here seems to believe that you are looking at the real culprit. I'm trying to figure out how these first two can be helpful in any way. I guess this is like trying to get a reaction out of Klein? It's... okay, It seems Klein was too quick to blame the mutants. We're dealing with daemon worshippers here. Coercion test succeeded. Klein smirks. The dead mutant looked more like a daemon worshipper to me, the way his guts were all twisted. But as for this one here, there's no touch of warp on this body, that's for sure. The worst he'll be able to show us is an ingrown nail. Expertly done, Ginevri. You have much to learn from Hrodko. Wouldn't you agree, Jocasta? Sarbak glances at Ginevri with curiosity. Ginevri, do you concur with the Lord Captain? Have you anything to say about this expert display? There's one thing bothering me. Ginevri points at the symbols on the worker's body. Guidon, what are those marks all over you? Those are my cultist marks, so I can put curses on people and talk to daemons. This voice just feels right. He pokes a finger at an uneven semicircle with 9 arrows coming out of it. This one is called the Ham of Terror. It represents the 9 archdemons. I always pray to each one first thing in the morning. Ginevri, there's no such symbol. It's supposed to be a circle with 8 arrows, and there's no way it's called the Ham of Terror. That is some kind of travesty. Your lordship, this man is talking nonsense. Ginevri, where did you get your knowledge of heretical signs? I often have to deal with insidious rabble. The idleness and avarice of the scum on the lower decks breeds heresy, especially during warp travel, and people start carving signs on themselves and praying to all sorts of things. The circle with 8 arrows is more common than any other symbol, but I've never seen this variation before. Does the Master at Arms not find it strange that this suspect is so eager to paint himself as a heretic, and in such a preposterous fashion, no less? I agree, Lord Captain. Sarbak growls at the worker. I want the truth. Who are you, and who told you to give us this pathetic confession? The man blanches and starts bawling. I bet his family is like a hostage or something. The man blanches and starts bawling. He gives up on his sinister theatrics and babbles in the voice of a common worker. Forgive me, your lordship. I'm not Guidon, and I'm not a heretic. Yart's my name. I'm a laundryman. Please have mercy. They took my family. That enforcer said she'd throw them out an airlock if I don't confess. She made me draw these unholy marks on myself. What enforcer? Name! Give me her name! Ginevri. Her name was Ginevri. Wait, what? What? I swear I am not... Ginevri. The steely edge in Sarbak's voice causes everyone present to freeze, but you also hear a note of bewilderment. We will deal with her later. I will handle the search for Guidon myself, Lord Captain. Would you have us execute this daemon worshipper? Hold on. He has lied to us more than once, and maybe he is lying to us still. Ginevri, do you have anything to say? I have never threatened his family, and I certainly did not force him to lie and draw heretical signs. I barely even remember his face. I may have interrogated him beforehand, but it was someone else who put him up to this. And yet he knows your name and pointed you out right away. Did you not find that funny? And do you not find it funny that your head is always up your ass, Rocco? It's obvious that someone framed her. Cease this bickering! Sarbak's snarl forces the officers to back down. Lord Captain, what we have here is a liar, and a well-coached one at that. He will never confess on his own. What do you suggest we do? First one goes wild. No, I don't want to do that. I refuse to believe that there is not a single person who saw them being manhandled. Find those witnesses. That makes sense. You cannot beat a man half to death without everyone in the compartment getting wind of such a scene. We will look into it. What do you want us to do with him when we are done? Oh my god, no. No, he didn't do anything! Dude, okay, look, I know I said this is a dogmatic run, but this is truly lawful stupid. Hang him? We just found out he's innocent and he's like a freaking, they've got hostages. His family's hostage. Burn him and his family. Jesus Christ. He needs a slight punishment, because otherwise people think they're going to get away with everything. Cut his rations for a month, have him scrub the lower decks after shifts. It will be done. There's no cause for alarm, Lord Captain. This conspirator may have been a fake, but now it is only a matter of time before we find the real culprit. We have the Pipe Warden's names and identification numbers, and we know which clan they're from. We will keep pressing the riffraff until either the culprit confesses or someone turns them in. I will handle this. The Master at Arms pointedly grips the maul on her belt. Please enjoy your meal in the interim, Lord Captain. The scoundrel will appear before us soon enough. Dude, this scene is so long. Can I save during this? I can't. Lord Captain, the real Pipe Warden Guidon has been found and is being escorted here as we speak. Are there any remaining questions you wish to address before we hear from Guidon himself? You can start by reporting on the results of the additional investigative efforts. Absolutely, Lord Captain. Your insightful suggestion helped the enforcers to locate the evidence. In fact, we found a bloody synth coat in one of the vents, a standard issue included in every enforcer outfit on the ship. We found witnesses to the battery of our false conspirator. According to them, an enforcer in a helmet came to the detained Yart, spoke to him, and then gave him a beating so thorough that a ring came off their finger. Alas, said ring could not be recovered. This concludes my report. Someone attempted to mislead our investigation. We cannot let this go without consequences. Undoubtedly. Let us go over the facts we have on this sabotage and compile them. The body of the deceased was mutilated after death. It is likely that the nature of the injuries would have proven very useful in the investigation and that the perpetrator concealed them for that very reason. Someone sabotaged the work log cogitator, so it would be harder for us to find the victim's partner, who might have information valuable to the investigation. Instead of the murdered man's partner, we were given a fool, one who thoroughly incriminated himself first before admitting that Captain Ginevri had put him up to it. Sarbat glowers at Ginevri and she pales with fear. Suspect Yart claims that you coerced him into lying about himself, Ginevri. What do you have to say for yourself? I may have conducted his preliminary interrogation like so many others. Hrotko suggested my assistance because of my experience in dealing with the rabble, but I swear there's no truth to these accusations against me. I have never threatened his family, and I certainly did not force him to lie and draw heretical signs. I barely even remember his face. I may have interrogated him beforehand, but it was someone else who put him up to this. The transcript says you conducted Yart's interrogation alone. Why is that? Because I can handle a single laundryman. Ginevri raises her chin proudly. Witnesses saw Yart being knocked around by an enforcer wearing a ring. Let me see your hands. The enforcers take off their gloves. Not one of them is wearing a ring. However, you do find a small mark on Hrotko's little finger as if he had been wearing some sort of band on it for a long time. Are you no longer wearing your family ring, Hrotko? Klein gives him a bloodthirsty scowl. Not on duty, and certainly not in compartments full of detained rabble. His voice is icily calm. Behind the armor of affected indifference, his thoughts ooze grimy hues, like blood mixed with umber. It looks vile. Who was guarding the body? It was Ginevri. Klein reluctantly nods at his fellow officer. I relieved her when I came to inspect the corpse, which by then had already been cut up. Ginevri nervously adjusts her armor under Sarbak's piercing gaze. The corpse was already looking like that when it came under my purview, but I could not get the name of the officer who discovered it. The deck was such a mess that I decided I would deal with it later. A bloody synth coat was discovered not far from the corpse. I would ask the officers in this room to present their coats. A rustle of synthetic fabric fills the room. All the officers show their coats except Hrotko. He shrugs complacently under the gaze of his comrades. I do not wear it. An enforcer must be able to withstand the cold, and the serfs treat synth coats as a sign of weakness. Okay, so Hrotko is missing a ring on his finger and is missing his coat. Who had access to the work log cogitator? The tech priest did not let anyone near the cogitator. They even tried to prevent the enforcers' investigation. Ginevri, were you there the entire time? Yes, ma'am. Since the start of the watch, I went there right after I handed the body over to Klein. The only time I stepped away was to retrieve the data slate from my quarters. I left a watchman, but he went missing. Most likely, one of the officers did not realize he was on duty and sent him off on some errand, but I was only gone for a few minutes. Very convenient. A missing sentry, a data slate misplaced against regulations. Hrodko drums his fingers on a holster on his belt where his own data slate sits tightly nestled. I don't understand how I could have forgotten it. I always check my gear when I go on duty. One of the Inferni complained that an enforcer had taken away his pass to the room with the Master Cogitator, and it was a man. Then it wasn't her, just one of her accomplices. Will you give us a name, Ginevri? Shut your mouth, Hrodko. Nothing's been proven yet. Klein goes red in the face and brushes Ginevri aside with his shoulder. So, okay, so either Hrodko did it, or she took his coat and ring to frame him. If the two of them are the suspects. Lloyd says, hey Muck, have you heard of K-pop Demon Hunters? I've seen some memes from it, yeah, I know of it. I haven't seen it. Kill Ginevri. Hrodko, this is all you're doing, is it not? Sarbak draws her auto pistol and points it at Hrodko, who appears entirely unperturbed. I will give you one chance to retain your last shred of honor and confess. You sabotage the investigation. Why? Is it not obvious? Hrodko smugly arches an eyebrow. To expose the conspiracy myself and to prove your incompetence to his lordship. I take the place I actually deserve. For years I toiled for the good of the dynasty, but when the former Master-at-Arms was killed, I was refused my promotion. Instead they give the possession to you, a self-serving Sarbak nit. I guess a noble name means more than talent. When this crime occurred, I realized it was my chance to show what I was worth. While you were busy dallying, I quickly learned the name of the suspect, diverted the course of the investigation, an easy enough task, and began looking for the real Guidon. Had I found him in time, your position would already have been mine, Jocasta. Simply listen to yourself and you'll understand why they made me Master-at-Arms. Lord Captain, I request permission to dispose of this refuse personally. Hrodko, you were really hoping you could deceive the Master-at-Arms and me. Your dismissive tone makes Hrodko flinch with indignation. I had every chance, but you were shrewder than I expected. My little trick with the body did work. You still don't know who was behind it all, but I have already figured it out. I hid Guidon from you by damaging the Cogitator and delivering you a fake, an idiot willing to incriminate himself out of fear. I even prepared a contingency plan in case he cracks by making sure you would blame someone else. Yes, there was a couple of slip-ups, but you must admit it was a solid attempt overall. Why were you trying to frame Ginevri? A backup plan. You always need someone to blame if you make a mistake. His voice sounds calm and even casual. I could have framed Klein, but that young upstart was already galloping through the ranks too fast and was clearly aiming for my station. Besides, she and her thick-witted subordinates were always right where I wanted them to be. What does that little arrow mean? You do not seem to fear punishment. With all due respect, Your Lordship, I am an enforcer. I have looked death in the eye, and I will accept your judgment with dignity. There is no bravado in his words, just dry statement of fact. I mean, yeah, he's like, yeah, I made all these plans, but they all failed. Dogmatic. Hrodko, for your crimes of sabotage, slander, and heresy, I hereby condemn you to death. Master-at-Arms, carry out the sentence. Wait, she got her stick? Bonk. Bonk. Yo, how many hit? You are not good with that hammer. It took you 4 swings. Also, it said that she was pointing a blaster at the guy. I thought she was gonna shoot him. Oh my god. Wait, I forgot what we named our ship. Bodie McBoatface has gained Triumph of Justice. Oh my god. Hrodko tries to speak, but his words are cut off by a devastating blow to the jaw. He collapses to the ground, but Sarbak raises the maul again and delivers another blow, this time straight to his ribs. She stretches out the pleasure, slowly crushing his bones and savoring every scream. When she's done, she finally allows the bloody mess that was once Hrodko to die where it lies. This is why the carpet's red, chat. Bodie McBoatface now has Triumph of Justice. Your shield, strength, and evasion are increased by 5%. The gruesome execution of Captain Hrodko has increased the diligence of both enforcers and those that they've been entrusted to supervise. The crews of the engines and shields modules now work their hardest for fear of punishment. +3 dogmatic. That takes care of the traitor. Now let us proceed with interrogating the pipe warden. Oh my god, can I save my game? Senior Pipe Warden Guida. Dude, there's a dead body here, and we just brought this guy in. The Pipe Warden does his best to remain reverentially bowed, which paints a rather comical picture given his formidable height and complexion. He lowers his head, tugging at his beard. Senior Pipe Warden Guidon, honored to serve, Lord Captain. I'm ready to confess to everything. Why did you fill my bath with blood? I did as the servant of death commanded. She said the Emperor gave the first spinner a sign, that your lordship should be bathed in the blood of poor Orto, my partner. And I, well, he gulps. I was scared, so I obeyed. The first spinner? Are you talking about the Vizier of the Bloodspun Web? Yes, that's him. He leads the death cultists, the lot who worship the Emperor by killing. His spinners hunt down heretics, but sometimes they take righteous lives too. Their service is mysterious, fervent, and bloody. Kibella, if the Vizier ordered it, then there must have been a reason. The Undying One must have revealed something to him that we are ignorant of. Did you kill your mutant partner? I didn't kill him, and I didn't know he was a mutant. Ordo and I always got along, even if he wasn't much for talking. But then, a servant of death came from the darkness, ended him quickly but harshly. She bled him dry and put a black feather in his throat. She told me to pump blood into the pipes, and then she left. I wanted to confess, but I was afraid she'd come for me if I did. And you are the real Pipe Warden, Guidon? I am, and proud of it, Lord Captain. A Pipe Warden's craft is hard work, but necessary. My number is SP-26855. My work partner was the late Orto, SP-24601. I oversee the water supply systems on the upper decks, sectors A3, K8, and R2. That includes Valve 27B. There can be no mistake. I verified his identity myself. It has also been confirmed by the other workers. Whom do you mean by this servant of death? Time? Yeah, we're going into overtime today, chat. I still need to do the Guild Wars 2 news. A holy slayer in black and crimson and bone. Feared by all they are, quiet and merciless as death itself. They come from the shadows to kill because the Emperor commands them so. You have already met the servants of the Bloodspun Web, Lord Captain. Their grim procession is not one of the upper decks will soon forget. Summon the Vizier of the Bloodspun Web. I wish to hear his explanation. As you will. Your Lordship, if I may ask, what happens to me now? I never meant to anger you. I thought I was doing as the Emperor willed it. But here we are. I'm a simple man. I know pipes. I know them a lot better than all this people business. My eyes aren't what they used to be, but I can still smell rust and metal, though not so much in people's thoughts. You were deceived into becoming an accomplice. I will not punish you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, your lordship. I'll serve you faithfully, and I'll never forget your mercy. He's lucky none of those said dogmatic. The Vizier of the Bloodspun Web treads lightly and silently as if his old gaunt body has no weight at all. He whispers weakly, Damen Mukluk willed to see me, and I have come. Master-at-Arms, inform this man of the accusations against the cult. Investigation has established that the Bloodspun Web orchestrated an attack on his lordship by means of pouring unholy blood into his bath. This affront... The old man's murmur drowns out Sarbak's relentless voice. Damen Mukluk knows the truth, so it was done, and so I did will. It was no affront, but a prophecy. For my hands to divine, unsullied martyrs offered their soul and bodies into his imperishable embrace. I gazed into the red rivers of their smoldering lives, and I did see a roiling unclean staining the bays, reaching for the anointed Lord of the Ark. In my apprentice's last sighs, I heard the Undying One's whisper. He bid me, bathe the Daemon in the blood of he who must go, and they who have been righteous, for this will shield the Daemon and strengthen his body against the roiling unclean. I obeyed. What do you mean by the roiling unclean? He did not reveal, but it is corruption itself. It offends him. It tastes as sweet as fetid waters and old pipes. Its promises are the deception of an enforcer's smile. Its face is elusive. The man you killed, who was he? I know not. I heard only the name, and I knew he must go. He listens to the empty space above his shoulder and nods. Yes, we need no more knowledge than that. Do you claim you did it because the God Emperor willed so? I speak, move, and draw breath because he wills so. I defy not the Undying One, neither in death that gifts and takes, nor in my living existence. Could your vision have been false? The Vizier's lips curl into a smile. I held the cards of his tarot, washed in the blood of the righteous. They make no mistakes, and neither does he send false visions. Only mortals err, they who read the signs, they who interpret. Master-at-Arms, are you convinced we have found the culprits? The situation is clear, your lordship. Sarbak makes the sign of the Aquila. The Emperor has sent us a portent. The protector of mankind guides the hands of his holy servants to guard us and warn us of hidden threats. Heinrichs, Mukluk, regardless of how regularly you kneel before an altar, I advise you to take this warning seriously. If I am correct in my suspicions about what is transpiring here, and I pray to the throne I'm not, then you can indeed consider this incident a sign the Emperor is watching over you and this ship. Why so cryptic, Heinrichs? If you have any theories about what is occurring here, share them. My theories are classified information of the Inquisition that I cannot divulge without good reason. If evidence comes to light that confirms my fears, I will disclose everything necessary. If, however, my concern is baseless, I would not wish to share knowledge dangerous to you without cause. Could it be coincidence that the victim of the ritual was genetic aberration? The officers around you keep a respectful silence, but you could tell by their faint smiles that they find the very idea of doubting the Emperor's providence absurd. Alright, so I think if we're in character here, the blood-spun web is like, it's like too powerful, right? Like, yeah, I could punish them, but I feel like that's going to cause a lot of problems. That'd be like if the president of the United States was like, yeah, we're banning Catholics. And it's just like, yeah, it's like, okay, well, even if you could pass that law, I think you're gonna have riots on your hands, you know? So, I think for now, we let this slide until we find more information. The cult of the blood-spun web will face no persecution for their deed. The Vizier freezes, listening to silence, then nods to nothing. Yes, yes, I will tell him. He turns his sewn-shut eyes to you once more. We are seeds in your hands, giver of life. Whether you keep us or scatter us, we will remain grateful. Be that as it may, we've hit a dead end. We hope that exposing the culprits would lead to the aberration's lair. Let the blood-spun web find the mutants breeding on my ship. But no spinner or brave warrior from the Damon's circle can find the roots of the unclean, for it can appear as human and act as human. Only its thoughts betray its vile nature. Only its thoughts are never human. Wise. Anxious silence falls the moment Sarbak says this one word. She narrows her eyes. Is it unclean thoughts we need to find? Very well. Let Wise find them. He knows how, no matter how badly he wishes that the rest of us forgot about it. Veni Zachary is a fearsome hunter. When he hunts, the flagship wails. When he thinks, my teeth crack, and I can feel pain as if I am young again. But his power is great indeed. He can hunt down our prey. What? How can the choir master of the Astropaths be of use to us? Is he some, like, retired psyker? The esteemed Zachary Wise can perform the ritual of thought reading. This practice lets him do a cursory examination of the minds of thousands of people in search of certain individuals. A ritual as rare as it is dangerous, and only someone as versed as Master Wise can accomplish such a feat. Has Wise done something like this before? Once, Lady Theodora made use of his services to expose spies on board who apparently had been in the employ of Lord Inquisitor Calcazar. Heinrichs clears his throat. Okay, Calcazar is Heinrichs' boss. As far as I know, the Inquisition's involvement in the matter was never proven. Spreading dubious rumors is a precarious habit that you would do well to abstain from. Oh my god. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that not everyone here is eager to leave this matter to Master Wise. I would say the one least eager will be Master Wise himself. Last time his efforts caused some severe warp manifestations. The ritual truly is perilous. That is all. Master-at-Arms, your duty is done. I give you leave to wrap up the investigation on the officer's deck. My duty will be done when the threat is eliminated. I will brief the enforcers when you consult Choirmaster Wise, Lord Captain. So, there was an option to let Adira do it. I don't know why I would do that. Adira constantly loses control of her powers, and Wise apparently knows how to do this thing. So, yeah, we'll get Wise to do it. But I need to save the game. Dude, we were in there for like 40 minutes. That was a really cool scene, though. I like that. All right. Quick save. And we've got some Guild Wars 2 gaming news to go over, so I'm going to swap categories here, and we will pick it up with more Rogue Trader tomorrow.